Hello and welcome back to the Eastwick Conference's film breakdown series, where today I want to talk about Nolan Traore of the Brooklyn Nets. This is one of their 5 first-round picks from last year. This is just his 7th start of the season for the big league team. He's played a bunch in the G League, but in this game he had 13 points and a career-high 13 assists, and that's what I want to talk about today, because as I was watching the film from this game, I found myself really impressed by the variety of reads that this guy can make as a teenage rookie point guard in the NBA. The first thing I want to say, and we saw it at the very start of the game here, is the number one thing that Traore has in his bag right now in terms of putting pressure on a defense is his rim pressure, is his ability to get to the basket. He has some real quickness to him, some burst getting to the rim. You can see here he rejects this early screen, blows right by Jaden Ivey, and it gets his teammate an open layup under the basket. But throughout the rest of the game, when it came to operating out of the pick and roll, we're going to see the Bulls do a number of different things in terms of how they wanted to guard him and how he's able to beat them with really timely passing. This one, we're going to see the Bulls in a drop. Yabusele is further back, closer to the free throw line. He's on the wrong side of the screen, but I digress. In any case, he's going to try to come out to contain the ball here. That means that Nick Claxton is behind the play, and a well-timed lob is all he needs to get him a dunk. Pretty simple play, but now we see here the Bulls decided to switch. It's Nick Richards at the center spot, and he is on Traore. The clip didn't get the whole play, but we can see we're starting from a position of Traore catching the ball with the center on him, which means that Nick Claxton has the point guard, Colin Sexton, on him. All you need to do is a really well-placed post-entry pass over the top of these shorter defenders, and you get your guy a layup, which is exactly what happens. That's just a very nice pass where Sexton has no chance of grabbing it. Something that we saw a couple of times in this game that I think was really smart from the Nets coaching staff was having whoever is on the weak side, whether they're on the wing, Noah Clowney here, or we're also going to see it from the corner. As the play progresses, they're going to cut all the way over to the strong side corner over here. Traore has the ball. You see he's starting in this pick and roll, but Clowney has now moved all the way over to the corner, which means that Okoro had to follow him through on the cut, and all of a sudden he looks around and he's in front of the ball, which means he has to try to make a play on the ball once Traore turns the corner here, and his man is now wide open in the corner. Traore does a really good job in that spot, although it was set up by the coaching staff of identifying exactly where the advantage is going to be and getting his guy an open shot. On this one, as I said, we're going to see one from the corner. It's Danny Wolf that's going to move from this corner all the way over to this one. But what I want you to notice is the timing of it. So he's already under the basket, but Traore has turned the corner. And so he understands, all right, if I try to go all the way to the rim, not only is there this guy in the way, there's Wolf's man is right under the basket. It's a contested shot. There's no chance it goes in. If I wait a little bit longer, Wolf is going to make his way to the corner. This guy is still going to be down here because he's probably going to be scared of my potential rim pressure, and he wants to be active and help because he's already in position, and I can use all of that to my advantage. And so when he turns this corner, he just turns around. I love that. I'm actually going to rewind because I paused it at a little bit of an awkward time, but you can see he just snakes that pick and roll, uses the little Tice screen, Gortat screen by Nick Claxton, and uses a beautiful head fake to get Wolf an open three. That's a level of poise from the pick and roll that is not common for a rookie. It's not common for a teenager. I understand that this guy played at a professional level earlier in his life, but still, it's pretty exciting to see from a teenager playing in the best league in the world. And now to come full circle, and this is also where I'm honestly most impressed by Traore from last night. As I said, his primary skill right now is getting to the basket, which means you're going to see defenses run schemes that try to prevent that from happening pretty often, right? In this instance, in the context of the pick and roll, that means using the screener's defender to try to contain the ball. What that also means is you're going to have other players behind the play rotating over to take away that roll because you're playing off of the roll to get the ball out of Traore's hands. Here's an example. Claxton sets the screen. Yabusele jumps out to try to take the ball. Traore does a good job of engaging him and keeping him there, but what that also means is you have the weak side corner defender, Okoro, pulled over into the rim to A, if Traore blows by Yabusele here, or B, more likely, if Claxton has this roll, it's not as free anymore. You don't get that alley-oop, you don't get a roll layup or whatever because you have this guy in the way. What that opens up for Traore is this corner skip pass, which is what he's going to hit beautifully. Does a great job engaging the big, waiting for the perfect moment when there's just enough hesitation to get there. This time, it's a much harder blitz, and you can see he understands the moment that that second defender steps up and they're trying to crowd him and get the ball out of his hands, he just flings it cross court. That's a beautiful read. It's a crazy jump pass, and it's perfectly placed to Terrence Mann in that weak side corner. And then here, he doesn't even need the screen. Terrence Mann actually ghosts it, but he blows right by Colin Sexton. That forces Okoro to come over to contain the ball. And once again, that skip pass is wide open. All of that is to set up this one play, which I'm actually just going to let play because on its face, it looks pretty unimpressive and normal, right? But with the context of those last 3 plays that we just watched, it is incredibly impressive to me. So what do we know? We know that the Bulls want to play high up and they want to try to get the ball out of Traore's hands, but we also know that they have been getting absolutely burned by this guy shooting in the corner when his defender has to pull over to the play. How do you stop that from happening? Well, you have to rotate better and you have to rotate earlier, and that rotation is going to come from this guy. In this case, it's going to be Anthony Simons. So we let it play. We see Buzelis is pulled over, as he should be, but then you also see Simons early on, starting his rotation to the corner, anticipating the skip pass because they've just been getting burned by it all game. And Traore immediately recognizes all of this is happening. He sees Simon starting to stunt over there, knows that this is not the pass that we need to make. The guy that's open is instead Danny Wolf on the wing, and he wastes absolutely zero time getting Wolf the ball, which means that now this guy gets to drive a closeout that was way... In a normal context, that's a bad pass because this defender is not moving. But because he had to start that rotation, this is a way easier shot. And then to finish it out, he actually completes his route and pulls himself out of the paint, potentially taking his defender with him. And Danny Wolf gets to drive that for a bucket. This guy is a real processor of the game with the ball in his hands. He understands where his teammates are. He understands what a defense is doing, and he understands how to beat it with really timely and well-placed passes. I understand that that Traore has played in professional leagues earlier on in his career, but his combination of burstiness and change of pace combined with all that floor vision is really, really advanced in a surprising way for a guy this young. This Nets team has a couple of lead ball handlers that they're investing in long term. Traore did not get his shine for a lot of the start of the season. Presumably, we're going to see more of it as the year goes on. I want to see what he looks like defensively. I want to see where his jump shot lands, but what he has right now in terms of getting downhill and making all of these reads, there's an NBA player in here for sure, in my opinion, and I'm really excited to see how he develops from this. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you as always, and I hope that you have a great day.